before the election, October 31st to be exact, before any votes were counted, the state's attorney general was already predicting, quote, if all the votes are added up in PA, Trump is going to lose. That's why he's working overtime to subtract as many votes as possible from the process. Meanwhile, the Pennsylvania Secretary of State tweeted, using the title president before the word Trump really demeans the office of the presidency. Little bias there. The state's lieutenant governor just referred to President Trump as, quote, just another internet troll. During an interview with his friends on MSDNC, he all but guaranteed a Biden win. What did he know that we didn't know? Take a look.
At this point, how many votes are outstanding there?
Well, I mean, several 100,000 of them, and it's generally accepted that it's going to be enough that would probably deliver our Commonwealth to the vice president at this point.
Laws clearly being violated.
That is what we're doing, because we will not let the people of Pennsylvania go without having an election observer for every single ballot.
Corey and Pam will both join us in a moment, but first, sadly, Pennsylvania is not the only state facing really serious questions about fraud and abuse. In Detroit, dozens of poll watchers were reportedly barred from observing the process there, some forcibly removed from the room as local election workers were actually cheering. Take a look. That's a matter of law also. Look at your screen. At one site, workers put cardboard over the windows of a vote counting station so no one can see in. Another violation of law. Meanwhile, according to Project Veritas, a purported whistleblower from the Postal Service in Michigan in Traverse City alleges that he was ordered to backdate.
I don't know, maybe. If it's in there, I ain't do it.
And you'll put some in there for me?
I might, man.
All right, brother.
See what I can do.
Very concerning, got to be investigated, and that's not all. The Trump campaign just filed a lawsuit claiming that 10,000 people voted who no longer live in the state. Wow. And breaking moments ago, the Nevada GOP just filed a criminal referral to the DOJ, alleging more than 3,000 instances of fraud. Keep in mind, just a few thousand votes separate the president and Joe Biden in the state. And meanwhile, on Election Day in Nevada, campaign observers were also allegedly booted from the polling locations there. We'll let you decide.
The question was asked at 1:30 in the morning, why are you here? And our response was, well, it's election night. That's why we're here, and you guys are obviously counting ballots. And it was unique because they said they had an hour and a half left of counting to do, and an official came out who was kind and access to sign documents, and a few moments later we were asked to leave. Well, I find it ironic we were asked to leave within 10 to 12 minutes when they said they had an hour and a half of counting left to do.
So if these people observing are denied access to observe, how can anybody confirm, have faith, trust, confidence in the legitimacy of any ballot? And how many people were denied legal access to the opening of ballots? And does this then call into question the legitimacy of the ballots when the legal right to observe and confirm were denied everywhere, it seems? Doesn't it then take away a huge legal right in the vote tabulation process? Because this ought to scare every American. No checks, no balances, no authentication, no transparency, millions of mail in ballots, postmark, no postmark, reports of dead people voting in states, and days of vote counting without observers, and tens of millions of ballots sent out. It'll be months before we ever sort out the legitimacy of where the ballots were sent, whether or not they're true or not. We weren't there to observe as a matter of law. This is the United States of America. And that now it is, I can factually tell you tonight, it will be impossible to ever know the true, fair, accurate election results. That's a fact. And now we know why Democrats delayed needed aid dollars for the American people and businesses on the first COVID relief package. This is the chaos they wanted and were fighting for, and they got. Americans have every right to be suspicious. They have every right to distrust the legitimacy of the results. We have the greatest, best technical minds in the world, and we can't develop a voting system that we can have confidence and trust in. That it is a free and fair and honest election that prevents opportunity for fraud and corruption. And meanwhile, we can send people.
Where are the ballots now?
They were putting them into express bags to go to the distribution center.
Now, in a statement, the USPS writes, quote, the U.S. Postal Service is aware of the video, which has been referred to the U.S. Postal Inspection Service and the Office of Inspector General. The state of Michigan claims it does not accept mail-in ballots after Election Day. And meanwhile, in another bombshell Project Veritas video, a purported Nevada mailman is captured on tape sharing unclaimed ballots with an undercover journalist. Can't verify, but we'll let you decide.
Yeah, where can I find a handful of them?
I don't know, man. Hey, I'm almost finished with the boxes today.
All right, brother.
Hey, not a problem, man. I'm gonna see if I can get you some like a little nice little handful. What's your unit number?
You gonna get a handful?
What's your unit number?
322. You gonna get a handful?
I'll probably put. I don't know. Maybe if it's in.
Do you trust these people to oversee a free and fair election that you have confidence in? Do they seem trustworthy to you? Do you see corruption riddled Philadelphia, that they're willing to do anything without any oversight as breaking the law? Because now Philly is still counting votes without any legitimate oversight whatsoever. No transparency, no accountability, and we, the American people, should be very concerned. Take a look.
They have refused to let us have a meaningful view of the vote count. They have continued to count the votes. Because they have done nothing to help us, they are not letting every legal vote count. They are letting anything come in. They are not letting us look at anything at all.
They believe they are above the law. So because they would not follow the law of the state of Pennsylvania, we have filed for federal relief. Let's go.